It's beginning to look a lot like wood. Follow my every step. Take notes on how I crept. I'm about to go in depth. This is the way I greet my season. Here's my ghetto rep.
Who are you?
What Speaking Freedom does online is provide general information for the culture to use to advance and improve. What we do privately is help individualize it for your needs and benefits. Grow with us.
We are kings, we are gods, but how you get them to believe it when they don't believe in anything? We're going to save some lives in this lifetime. We haven't church in a while. Like God's doctor in these streets, the Holy Ghost used me to set them free. If love is the new religion, the hate is sinning, we stay winning. Just handling God's business, we ain't tripping. No bread to be dipping.
'Cause we're speaking freedom, giving you the answers to be free.
We use the client to develop, to grow, and to bring out the best in themselves. We are simply a tool to help you learn how to make better decisions. Not just one decision, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Encouraging each person through each trial and tribulation.
Work call. Yeah, man. Gotta go in here and dance, but I don't get tired.
Speaking Freedom presents Good Head Group, providing advanced spiritual studies and personal developmental insight. Brought to you by Love Gang and Speaking Freedom. We look forward to helping you grow in all the areas of your life. We hope that you find all the information needed for your growth. God bless. Please listen to all disclaimers provided. If you are currently under physician's care, please maintain that relationship. This is not intended to stop your current treatment plan. If you need physician care, please seek out medical attention. Please note, all results are based on the individual's ability to adapt and adjust to any given environment and situation. We are not responsible for your results at Speaking Freedom. The life enhancement coaches at Speaking Freedom provide information to help you grow. You are responsible for maintaining that growth, taking on and then applying the information to your individual life as you deem needed and necessary. This may contain and explain explicit content. Please use parental discretion. For best results, you will need an open mind, the ability to research, and a balanced lifestyle.
So first, let me say this. I know I need to be more present. I know I should probably have this video show on my face, but I would prefer to put footage over this video and just speak what was on my mind to say. So I'm standing in the kitchen, and I'm just thinking. And the thought that came to my mind is, as far as when building a team, the worst thing that you can do when building a team, or when in the business of building people who makes great teams, is to build people up in a certain way, which is all through self-love, self-healing, self-acknowledgement, holding yourself responsible and accountable. Within all of that, if you help to build people up, and then somebody else comes in and starts planting seeds of self-sabotage or planting seeds of doubt based on whatever they get going on in their lives or whatever they didn't overcame and haven't dealt with. So they're self-projecting very negative undertones that would cause a setback in those who have already grown past that. Now, I know it seems like, well, how could that happen? And how would that be such a big issue? But just imagine you climbing up a tightrope. Climbing up a rope, like in a gym class, or you climbing up a rock wall. And as soon as you get to a good place on the rope or on the wall, and you're going up, you're climbing. And as soon as you get to the point of breakthrough, let's say if you reach a certain level of that rope or wall, then you advance to the next level, and it's a prize at the end. And maybe the prize is in the adventure, maybe the prize is in the experience, maybe the prize is a literal thing that you get at the end as a gift or a present or a reward for completing each level of whatever it is that your course is. So let's say you get up, you're on the very first rope, you get up, you go. You get 3/4 of the way to where you need to go. And then somebody yells or does something that breaks your concentration and makes you slip back. Now, yes, you, the person that's climbing the rope to get to the next level, to get to where your end all goal is with taking this course of action, you and your concentration makes a difference. But how you present yourself to your surroundings, because when you're climbing, you can't look back to say, oh no, not you. Oh no, not them. But if you already had the perimeter set, that you can already look back and say, before you get to climbing, not look back, before you start climbing, you can say, okay, well, this is the perimeter set. The reason why these perimeters are set is because, like when you're going on a PGA tour in golf, in certain instances, people can get barred from the golf course if they do things to try to sabotage the person in who is golfing. Let's just be easy about it. So this is the thing. In order to monitor those type of events, those type of life achievements, the course in which you've been presented, and to get to the end, you already have to have a perimeter set, boundaries, let's say. We don't want to say limits, because it's unlimited to who can come in, who can be taught, who can be coached, who can grow. That part is unlimited. But the mindset in which they come in with can get them barred or dismembered from the organization if they do not uphold the certain standards in which have been presented. So if you are being life coached by Speaking Freedom, or if you are taking classes or getting advice from Good Head Group and Love Gang, if you are an affiliate, there are certain type of standards that have been presented. They're not standards so that we can have something to hold over your head, as in a string being attached. These standards have been created so that the people that's coming in behind you, the people that's on the same level as you, and the people that have risen don't get sidetracked. Now, it's easy to be distracted when you got a lot going on. It's easy to allow your focus to be out focus, a little blurry, if you do not keep the right type of people around. So with Speaking Freedom, the main thing is having a positive mindset. Even if you have to address something negative, it should be a lesson in which you're giving versus feeding people foolishness. So one of the main things of being a Love Gang associate, and why some people get disbarred and some people are no longer used to represent, and some people I just don't want to be around, some people that I don't involve myself with anymore in business, is some standards that have already been set. Being positive. Even if something fucked up is going on in your life, not faking like everything is okay, but finding the lessons so that you can grow and it become a blessing. Like, if you are in a hard relationship, or you know people or somebody else is in a difficult relationship, don't be negative to try to convince somebody to do something that you would want them to do. be reflective so that they can learn and grow and make the best decision for themselves on their own. Because you being negative could be planting a seed in somebody else that didn't need that seed to be planted. And then something starts sprouting up in somebody that had already healed, that had already got. And then if you just so happen to look like you're close, like you've reached the status quo of people to listen to, if you look like you have become, I don't care about what you do in the world, but what you do for the world. In this business, in this love gang association and affiliation, it is about how you build people up. So if you ever get the opportunity to where you could say something negative and you learn how to say, okay, let me make it reflective instead of a negative, then you give the people the ability to reflect within themselves without you projecting. Because if you project a negative perception on somebody else, even if they've healed and even if they've grown, planting those seeds bring up plants that's unknown. So if you don't know what somebody else is struggling with and you talking negative, then you can throw off the whole plan that God had, because God is never throwing negative seeds, even when he's trying to get you something that you need. And you have to learn through that process in order to grow to the level that you need to let go of whatever you was holding on to. But you can't be close to me if the devil is still working through you. And when I say the devil, I mean the ego, because it's all a mindset. So if you have a negative, self-righteous, just whatever mindset, then those are the seeds that you're planting in people that might not need that. And we can't have that in Speaking Freedom. So there are plenty of people that we have literally disassociated ourselves with because of negative projections, because of hating ass shit, because they can't maintain the standards of love, peace, unity, and happiness that needs to be present at all times. And the reason why some connections can get you disconnected, because if you're connecting with somebody that's planting negative seeds to the people that I'm trying to help heal, then I don't care what they can bring to the table. If they're not helping feed the souls that I'm feeding in a positive way that helps them grow, it ain't no whoever needs to hear this or whatever you need to know. It's being able to heal within yourself, because somebody else's negative projection may get you out of a situation that you were supposed to grow from, that you were supposed to grow in, and that God had already situated lessons so that you would not have to endure the same thing again. But if you get to listening to somebody jaw jacking and you get to making moves because somebody else is making suggestions or trying to be funny or just being negative in general, then you could mess up the lesson and miss out on God's blessing and have to retest again. When I always talk about retesting, I'm not talking about some pop quiz or something. I'm talking about life lessons come through, the things that you have to grow through. And as you learn while you're growing, that does not mean that you got to go through a whole bunch of sad sorrow. I'm just saying it's the seeds that you're sowing. So if you're learning as you're growing and going, and you are making each step with a conscious decision, then you will learn lessons that other people escape from because they run from what's before them instead of addressing it, finding a solution, and make sure that they never end up in the same thing again. So it frustrates me when I hear women say, you just need to leave. It's not always about just leaving. Now, if you're in an abusive situation, yeah, get out of there. But you, within getting out of that abusive situation, you still need to, within your mind, figure out, okay, how do I avoid getting in something like this again next time? Because a lot of people will leave one bad situation and go to another bad situation just because the presentation is different. And it may look like you getting something new, but you really getting the same old thing over and over and over again because you never took the lesson to grow so that you know which way to go so you don't end up back on the same path again. So a lot of times people, when they get that negative insight and that ego-driven mind, and I'm trying to help somebody learn within themselves how to navigate through life in a way that they don't have to lean on each other or lean totally on nobody else for help. Those negative seeds can contradict the very things that I'm trying to teach. And I'm not teaching anybody anything that I know or self-preach. It's more of learning the lessons through the life that you've lived thus far and figuring out if you're happy where you are right now and how you can change that moving forward. I don't try to be an asshole. I'm not too good for anybody. I talk to everybody. But there are things that cannot be tolerated when you're trying to build. Not when you're trying to build. When you're building people from within, then you have to get away from anybody that's on some surface level bullshit. You can help encourage them and send them on their way. You can, you know what I'm saying, all the extra supportive things from a distance, but you cannot have negative spirited people in this business, not in Speaking Freedom business. We don't do no negative minded people in this business. It's hard enough for people to stay positive and stay encouraged while we building and growing and getting everything in the right direction and sowing. But it's a whole nother thing when you allow people or place people with even an ounce of gossiping negativity type bullshit, because it will throw off everything that you've built thus far. So I'm very low tolerance on a lot of things. And the main thing is negativity that's projected from people who don't understand what your mission and your plan is. And for us, we don't get 4, 5, 6, 7, 20, 30, 40, 50 chances to allow people to ruin what God is building. You get one chance. I mean, you can learn after that one chance. You just can't learn close to me. You can get all the knowledge and follow along, but you will never sit down and eat with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm not better. I have to protect me. You know what I'm saying? And if when I become somebody's queen and he's my king, you're really going to be limited, because my job will begin to be to protect him and me the way he protects me and his family. Because if somebody can get in my space and in my ear and start saying whack ass shit, trying to be cute or trying to be lit, then it can penetrate my heart, my marriage, my love, my relationship, my thinking, depending on what it is and what I've overcome from. And now it's penetrated me, and then I bring that negative spirit to my king. And that's just not what we're doing. I don't want any negative. I don't want to be fighting with any type of negativity at all when it comes to that relationship. So in order to do that, you have to begin to separate. I'm not saying that you got to cut off all your friends, but if all your motherfucking friends gossip, then bitch, you don't need to be friends with them anyways, because if they talk about another motherfucker to you, they probably talking about your ass too. But we're not going to, address that too much. The goal is to have a safe, secure relationship. The goal is to have a safe, secure mindset. The goal is to have positive, building builders of influence within your immediate circumference. So that way, if you ever get to in doubt within your mind, you don't have to battle that for long, because you got people around you that's going to feed you some good shit. You know what I'm saying? I would rather take a Bible thumper than somebody that's a negative Nancy any day, because that Bible thumper is going to give me words of encouragement that I can possibly believe in, while that negative Nancy, silly Sally, petty Patty, whoever you want them to be, that always got that every now and then I got to say some negative shit because whatever reason they come up with. Then when you get down and out, that negative Nancy is going to plant those seeds of doubt. So that down and out turns into down and depressed if you get around too much of that mess. And that messy behavior that plants negative seeds into what you're growing. That's why bad communication corrupts good seeds. Because if you are pouring oil on an apple seed, expecting it to grow, you're not going to get nowhere. Now, oil worth a lot of money. Barrels of oil worth a lot of fucking money. But on an apple seed, that oil ain't going to do shit but kill the seed. I need you to understand it, so I'm using different analogies so that you can kind of picture it in your mind so that you can see what I'm seeing. But I can't force what I'm seeing on you. I can only present the information so that you have a better view of perspective on this level. Because the goal is to go up a level. The goal is to enhance your mind, enhance your life, enhance your thinking. The goal is to kill all those negative self-talks, all that self-doubt, all those negative voices that come to your mind. This is how people get stuck in relationships that are good, healthy relationship, and then they have a wrong type of friend around, and now that friend is, oh, he probably doing this, oh, he out this, oh, and suggesting shit that ain't even happening or ain't supposed to be happening, or they don't know you was given permission for the shit to happen. And instead of them trying to be supportive, they being negative Nancy, petty Patty, and goddamn somebody you just don't even need around you at all. You don't need people to come around you and then start projecting other type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they come around you, they see some shit, and now they don't think about all the positive shit that could be going on within what they see. All they see is the negative shit. And instead of talking about, well, what I get from this in a positive type of mindset and situation, they go into all the negative shit. They start going, all of the worst case scenarios. And Speaking Freedom, we don't think of worst case scenarios in order to gossip about what the worst case scenario may be. The only time we consider the worst case scenario is when we're planning effectively. Because to plan effectively, you need to know the good, the bad, of the ugly, of what the outcomes could be, what the things that you may face that are going to be challenges along the way. It is so many factors that you have to maintain to just keep a positive mindset. Forget even a relationship with somebody else. Maintaining a positive relationship with yourself. That may mean if you don't have confidence in your body right now, you might not need to follow all those Instagram models that got all the work done, because even though they look good and they go to the gym like they working out, a lot of these motherfuckers be going and getting their motherfucking stomach moved into their ass. And there's nothing wrong with it if they can afford it and it doesn't make them sick. But a lot of them aren't confident in who they were before they got that work done. If you couldn't stand up and talk that shit when your ass was flat and your titties was goddamn small, then don't get no fake ass and tits and then be popping shit like you got it going on, because you ain't got that confidence for real. If them motherfucking things pop or deflate, then your ass is gonna be sick. And I'm not talking about just your health. I'm talking about your mental health more so than anything else, because spiritually, you already are not really confident in who God created you to be within. So if you're not confident in who God created you to be within, then anything that you put on to make you feel real is just some fake ass bullshit. Now, you may not like that. That may be offensive, but that ain't got shit to do with me, because the number one goal is to have confidence within yourself about yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually. Emotional confidence. Because if you going into emotional whirlwinds on purpose, then something is wrong. You need to get that addressed. Nobody is sitting around saying, I want to cry today. Let me put on some sad music so I can sit around and cry today. Even if you're mourning someone you lost, the mindset and the goal behind it should not be, I want to be sad. I'm trying to be depressed. You should not want to stay in depression, even if you have bouts of depression. As a veteran with post-traumatic stress disorder, I do have depression sometimes. I do not sit in depression. I've almost died. I've had some very, 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 very harsh circumstances and some things happen to me even in the last 3 or 4 years. And this is 2020, the beginning. So let's take it back. 2015, I had surgery. 2016, I had another surgery. I almost died, was in the hospital. And I'm not saying that to get your sympathy. I'm saying that to keep a positive mindset, to keep yourself going. You can't have no negative people around you, because in those times where I was down and depressed, I did not sit and sink into a deeper depression. I thought myself happy. I listened to things and people that encouraged me to get up and try to do more. Get up and push more past what I could do. But if you allow people to plant seeds of negative projections within you, a little bit of depression can turn some people suicidal, because they don't have enough within themselves or within the support around them to grow and be healthy mentally, spiritually, financially, and emotionally. So a lot of times people think that I'm just being over the top, or that speaking freedom is, you know what I'm saying, it limits you. No, you just can't be on no bullshit and roll with us. This is love gang. You can't be love gang and planting seeds of doubt in people's mind frame. Yeah, I'm not saying negative shit don't happen. Negative shit happen. We figure out what's going on. We find a solution. If there's a solution present, then we figure out how to stop that negative thing from happening again, if we've learned from what caused it to happen the first time. Now, in the cases that there is no way to find a solution, very rare. That's a very rare occurrence, because there is always the ability to find a solution.
Call from unavailable.
Hello? A solution is always available. Where there is not a solution, there's an accountability and a responsibility that can be taken in which you can find peace. All problems, a real problem, has a solution. A problem without a solution is something that you need to reconsider, reconfigure, and rework in your mind frame and your mindset. Now, I could go on, but I think I've made the point that I was seeking to make up until this point. It is very important, pivotal, vital. It would change your life to be either around positive people that only gonna help you find solutions, deal with your issues, address accountability, address responsibility, address acceptance of self, or be alone. Because if you get with around people that is quick to pop off negative seeds randomly, not so randomly, then honestly, you will end up in a negative mindset. You can't make positive strides around negative people, because every time you make a stride to advance, they'll bring you back. Every time you try to go forward, you will be tripped up by those negative condensations, those conversations, those thoughts, that suggestion that your people had based on whatever they was projecting, because they need to still heal. And I'm not saying to not address real issues and not be accountable, but when we address real issues between Speaking Freedom, Love Gang, and Good Head Group, we addressing issues with a solution-based narrative. That means I see this issue, I'm going to comprehend this issue, I am going to apply different narratives to this issue, I am going to apply different perspectives to this issue, and I am going to make different suggestions of solutions to this issue based on all of the possibilities, based on all of the different narratives, based on every single thing that I can think of that can help me make the best decision in moving forward. Because even when there's not a solution present, there's still a decision to be made to either progress or digress and make it do something different. You might want to do an about face. You might need to go a different route. You might have to come by it a different way. But we don't plant negative seeds just to be saying some shit. We're not projecting negative things just to be saying some shit, because what you saying just to be doing some shit can be somebody else's devastation. Whether you're right or you're wrong, allow a person to evaluate what it is that they got going on in their life so that they can know how to move on, or how to endure to the end to obtain whatever promise and or lesson God wanted them to experience in that situation. And that's the end.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live what I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me is sexuality.
Thank you for joining Speaking Freedom as we continue to assist you with your daily growth and intuitive wisdom. Loving is a lifestyle and we love to love. Inspiration is how we fuel faith. Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love you.